I want to start a bookstore that only sells banned books.
Banned books? Like musical theory banned books?
No, banned books. Like books that are illegal to buy. Like these books.
Banned.
Yeah, banned books.
Banned books. Not that's
yeah, trombone books exclusively for trombones.
Hey, welcome to Idea Drop, the show without borders where we explore new ways to build income while avoiding the tyranny of venture capital. We are the kind of show that brings family shame to craftsmen and creatives until one day you get paid and then you've got an ego issue and your cousins become jealous. We're that show.
I relate with so much of that with the family shame.
Really?
Yeah. Family shame to craftsmen. Yeah, it's I think it's really popular to. I'm gonna go out and get a job. And when you say, tell me what you think.
Right.
If somebody's like, hey, this is Kendall. He's an entrepreneur. How do you feel?
Icky a little bit.
Yeah.
Icky.
Like you wanna like.
But then if you're like, hey, this is Kendall. He's rich. Now I have different feelings.
Or he's running. He starts and runs several businesses. Even that sounds better.
Yeah, it sounds better, but then it all
no, it's way better. It's way better. When I hear entrepreneur, I think, okay, so am I on Mona V, and what am I selling? Is this like a pyramid
You want me in your
scheme?
down leg?
Yeah. Show me your business license.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have one? Let me see it. Can I see it? I'd really like to see it. And then the other thing that resonated to me was you have shame because you're like, oh god,
and then ego.
Yeah, and then you have an ego at the very end because you're like, I did it, and you're probably right. You did something that nobody else could have done, but also they just didn't try. So you're not really Superman, but it's.
And the point of life is not to win. And I hope that people gather that from our show. I know they are. You probably already believe this if you're listening to this, but you need to be reminded that you believe this.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some things today. We are going to dig into some ideas and then do book club on Blink by Malcom Gladwell.
Ooh, yes.
And I want to really cover a 2-temperature plate. We'll get into that for restaurants. 2 temperatures, 1 plate.
I have thought about this.
Have you really?
Yeah, I've thought about it. This is great.
I want to go over a conference line I'd like to do with you.
Okay.
I think we should go to UC Davis and Princeton, etc. And I have some thoughts there.
Okay.
And then what do you have today?
Let's see here. I was thinking about doing, I have a couple of app ideas. I know you hate app ideas, so I often like to think of app ideas.
Let's do it.
One about banned books, about a club I'd like to start. I'd like to do a state shaming campaign, and another app idea that does translations and variety packs. That's me, though.
Variety packs.
And maybe if we get to it, something about cats.
Something about cats. All right. Could we start with cats?
Yeah, I might have done this before, but I want to come back to it because I don't know if we've actually... So Kendall and I have recorded several episodes and we've released several episodes, but some of them got lost along the way, and I'm really sad about it. And a long time ago, I had this idea, and I love this idea, and I keep on coming back to it, and I think it should be out there more. Oh, we don't have our bell. It's out there. I'll go grab it in a second. But until then... Cat doors for windows. Yeah. They need to be there, and they need to be brought to the market to a bigger way. I saw it. It is out there. I think they charge a lot of money.
Way overpriced.
Yeah, massively overpriced. I think you could do it for $35. I really think you could.
Okay. How are you going to make... Okay, if you were going to do this for as cheap as possible and yourself and not take on debt or anything like that, how would you make the early prototypes?
Oh my gosh.
Prove that this is real.
This is actually kind of tough because I wouldn't do it myself. I would instantly go to Alibaba.
Okay. Can you do this on Etsy? Like, could you make these out of wood or something and use like...
You're a crafty person. You're way more crafty than me. How would you do it?
Well, I can just picture it out of wood or even basic like plexiglass.
Yeah.
Like plexiglass would work for this.
Yeah.
If you made this see-through, even better because it's a window.
Problem is plexiglass is expensive.
Yeah, but in the beginning, I'm not trying to make the margins work. I'm trying to make sure people buy it.
Yeah.
And then I'll have the confidence to go drop, $5 or $10,000 on Alibaba and ship it over here and then all that other stuff that takes a lot of work and run ads on. So I think you shouldn't do it unless you can drop $25,000.
$25,000, I think this would work pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't think you would get rich off of it. I think you'd have a really great cash flow of $10,000 a month kind of thing.
You might get rich. You ever see the Shark Tank episodes where they have the dumbest thing and then they're like, yeah, I mean, I'm profiting like $7 million a year on this.
Dude, I can't watch Shark Tank.
Why? Tell me more.
It's it's like popcorn. You know, when you have popcorn, you can't stop watching it, and you're like, just one more, just one more, just one more.
That's why you can't watch it?
It does something bad to me. I don't stop. I binge it, which I think it's a good idea of a show, but I also am like, this drives me insane. Although, because half of it I think is a little bit fake. Like the numbers, are they really pitching them? Are they really going to buy their business? I'm not sure. I want to think it's true. But I do think that the business that they're selling is true. But they're just selling...
half of the deals fall through post-airing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? How come?
Just the actual terms of the deals. You know, they made that live in front of the TV.
Yep.
So more often than not, it's on the entrepreneur's end. They actually regret taking the deal that's been negotiated live. And so...
I believe that.
They actually go, I didn't want to give up 30% of my business for that amount. And they go, and I didn't really want Kevin. And so... then they blow it up in post. But
how much money did they lose when they blow it up?
They I believe it's 5%, 2% of their company. There's a number that they give to the producers.
To pitch?
If you're going to come on and air.
No.
Yep.
2% of your
permanently,
company.
Yep.
Wait. As an equity, 2% equity of your company is permanently given to Shark Tank?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, we need to start a cheaper Shark Tank. We're doing 1%.
Isn't that interesting?
We're doing 1%, so, half a percent. You can come on our show.
Scrub Daddy does a few $100 million of revenue at this point.
Oh my God.
And their margins are pretty damn good on a little sponge. And
2%.
So Shark Tank's doing pretty good on their 2% of Scrub Daddy.
That seems unfair to me, but at the same time, it's probably worth it. Not as worth it now as it was then, probably, but...
I mean, people are lining up to get onto the show, obviously. And then if it airs in front of 7 million people live, then you have all of these customers. I mean, I have bought many things from Shark Tank because the peer pressure of my kids.
How many people watch
an
episode, do you know?
It's about 7 million live.
Stop. Yeah. For real?
Yeah, like on the airing night. So it'll be live in front of it'll air in front of 7 million people. And then there's all the rewatching.
So a 7 million, how much does it cost to create an ad that reaches 7 million people?
Oh my gosh.
We've reached
Super Bowl amounts. So it would be
no less than that.
No, reach that would actually watch it.
They watched it. They're curious. They'll watch 5 minutes of it.
I don't even think that we can measure that. You'd have to have a professional marketer answer that question. We could look it up, but people can Google that at home.
Tens of thousands,
hundreds of thousands, or low millions. It just depends on who your audience is and how much how sticky you want it to be.
Shark Tank is worth it, I guess.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I bought banana Loco for my kids.
That's great. What is that?
You take a banana, you stick it in the banana Loco. You take the little thing that you stick in the banana. There's many things getting stuck in many things. You core the banana out with the little sticky thingy, and then you take another thing, you stick it in the butt of the banana, and then you squeeze in like chocolate and caramel.
Okay.
And then you take out the banana and you eat it filled with chocolate or caramel or whatever. My kids love it. And then it's a nightmare to clean up.
Yeah, that sounded awful to clean up. It sounded really complicated.
But they make it look so good and so fast. It's just a piece of cheap plastic. Great margins on it.
I love it. All right, Kendall, you monologue while I go grab a bell.
Okay, so I'm going to do a book club. So Blink by Malcom Gladwell. I wish I had it here, but Audible, I highly recommend Audible for Malcom Gladwell's stuff because he is always so good at reading his own words. I mean, that makes sense, but he's a brilliant writer, and Blink is this exploration of your soft, kind of your fast brain and your slow brain. So we essentially, like what we're doing right now is using our slow brain. We're consciously trying to adapt to the thing in front of us, and we're making decisions in real time. But your fast brain, some people call it their subconscious, maybe you call it your gut. There's spiritual, names for it. But essentially, like your intuition is operating at such a speed that and accuracy, like vector, that you can't even keep up with someone's intuition if they're using that and you're using your brain. Like it's an unfair advantage, but the trick becomes knowing which of your intuitive feelings essentially are accurate or misplaced. So a wrong example, like a bad use of it, is in bias. So we see it all the time. So he explores like cops and making the wrong decision in the pressure of the moment, and people's lives get harmed.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Right? It's a big one.
I remember this part.
So then there's the other part of it. So chapter 1 opens up, and these experts are uncovering this sculpture that's been long lost. It's just thousands and thousands of years old. And they're looking at this sculpture, and some expert goes, the fingernails are wrong. And the scientists are like, no, it's the real thing. And we have put in 1,500 hours of data and analysis and core samples and testing, and it's the right limestone from the right era. It turns out it was a fake, and most of the experts had reported it as a fake out of like no inspection, just looking at it. But the scientists had sold it for like $10 million or something to this boutique, to this museum.
Yeah, I remember this. I actually love this book. I love Gladwell in general. I want to say I don't love him, but every single thing that he does is so dang good, partially because of his research team and partially because of how conversational he is.
Yeah.
It's great information, very condensed. However, so this book, Blink, it's been a long time since I've read it. I think like 5 or 6 years. But I remember basically like a little bit of trusting your instinct and learning how to build that instinct and when to trust it, when not to. He put out a book several years later called, I forget what it was, but it was about when you meet people and you meet strangers and how we shouldn't trust our instinct. And I remember thinking, this is directly contrasting your other book. Yeah, it's basically all about how we see what we want to see. And it goes into like, there were spies and the CIA and nobody saw them, even though if you go back, it's completely obvious that they were spies. Like literally your uncle is best friends with Fidel Castro. Like you're obviously a spy. Like it's so obvious.
Wow.
Really bad. Anyway, so I think it's so funny. Have you read his book Outliers? We should do that one.
I do love Outliers.
That's my favorite.
We can
Gladwell
talk
book.
about it. Let's talk about it. What do you love about Outliers?
Okay. Outliers is my favorite book because it just goes through all the most successful people in every industry that you can think of.
Debunks them.
It kind of debunks them, kind of doesn't. But basically, like Bill Gates became Bill Gates because he was born in the right place at the right time.
1967. I remember this.
There you go. Okay.
So there was a window of a few years. Like if you were born in this window and you were born on the West Coast of the United States and you were in tech, then your chances of becoming a tycoon were like tens of thousands higher than any other point in time and in history. And it's like right place, right time, right brain, right decision making. So you can't take away someone's decision making, but it debunks this concept of like they're an outlier and I am not. The question really becomes like, what could you be an outlier in?
That's exactly the takeaway I got. It was very much that. It's like, oh, okay, so we were all born into pros and cons in a lot of different directions, but there's something pretty unique to you that most people don't have, right? So I was born in California, didn't have a lot of money growing up, but I had a private education. My father did this, my mother did that. Like, what can I nail down? For me, I had a super musical household, and I just kind of naturally did that. Ended up touring the world playing music. That's kind of a success in certain ways, right? But I used the easy button for me. Now we all have that, and whatever that is, you can find a way to monetize it and have a good time with it. But I love that book so much.
Dude.
I love it. And I also kind of like, when people are like, I'm the best because I was the best, I want to say, yes, you worked hard. I get that. But also you definitely were born into something that gave you an opportunity in that direction that person down the street didn't. So shut your mouth and actually go help the people that need help.
Right.
It's not all hard work. Anyways.
No, luck is a huge part of any type of success. Now, it's not a binary though. You can get lucky over and over and over and over. Mm-hmm. So, or you could get unlucky 1,000 times and then lucky once. So if you, it's like, there's a terrible billboard. Yeah. Have you seen this down the road? There's the casino, the Indian casino in town. It has this board. You can't win if you don't play. I mean,
you're right.
That's true.
You're right.
So yeah.
Oh man, that's just, well, odds are there eventually you'll always lose. But in the game of life, especially in entrepreneurship, eventually you will win.
Right. In true entrepreneurship, like if you're actually going to keep swinging and you're going to keep learning and keep adapting, I am blown away. I wish if I could tell me in my 20s, like to take a chill pill and point out some real truths that I naturally am experiencing in my mid 30s. The network effect of just relationships compounds. The broad information and deep information that you index while you learn aggressively, it compounds. It's not linear. Like I'm not just like learning a new industry tomorrow. I could get on a phone call in an industry I've never heard of tomorrow and already know 80% of what I need to know to do the phone call.
Yeah.
Because I've done so many different, I've done that thing so many times, and a lot of information has patterns. So I'm really only learning net new things. And then I don't have to build the mountain of context underneath it.
It's the 80-20 of life. Like learn 20% of everything instead of learning 80% of one thing. Just you'll enjoy your life more. I promise you.
And yes, that's a proactive approach to it. But also just if you're going to sit on your ass and just feel about the future, my advice to you would be like, you're actually going to know multiples more than you think that you'll know 10 years from now. It won't be like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It will always be a compounding. And so that is also until your, dementia has onset in the 90s, in your 90s or 80s. But
I'm already there.
Yeah, don't go too early. But I do think that people who are in our culture antsy about success, they're like trying to climb that mountain. There's some reason why they're doing that. Mm-hmm. They need to know you can trust your own journey. And you don't need the results fast. You will get the results. What you need to do is pace out the reasonable amount of time that it will get that, and to know that pace, if you're to plot it on a chart, is not linear. Yeah. It is compounding. So at 38 years old compared to 22 years old, you will have a curve of compounding. As long as you don't blow up your brain, drugs, blow up your relationships, which we all do that. Just do it less. Do that less. And be intentional about your choices. Don't reset yourself to zero and it will compound.
Yeah. And you don't even have to do a lot. It's good to do a lot. Just keep on doing something and eventually it'll work.
Yeah, do something. Yeah.
Kendall, you need to give me an idea, but then I also wanted to talk to you about the psychology of business because we're talking about that a little bit. But give me an idea first.
There should be a plate business, like ceramic plates or rock plates, stone plates for steak houses, etc. That's a B2B plate business. I know these already exist, but they specifically sell a product that is 2 temperatures for serving high-end steak. There are a lot of steak houses in Northern California, and it is a luxury people will drop an insane amount of money on.
Yeah.
And a plate is so stinking cheap. And I watched this guy we're sitting there, there's a river view, there's a big old mountain in the back, and we're out in the fall air. It's a perfect moment. He's got his steak coming, and he's like, I asked for a hot plate, and you're holding it in your hand, so it's not hot enough. Can you take it back and
remake the steak?
No, bring me it on a hot plate, please. Because that was his request.
Yeah, okay.
So he asked specifically, and then it came out, and the dude was just holding it. He's like, it's clearly not hot.
Yeah.
And apparently this is a thing. I didn't know this was a thing until I just have never ordered nice enough steak, I guess. But the plate, when it's at the temperature that keeps the resting temp of the beef, nice enough, it is really hot on the rim. So if you're knife and fork, you just brush it there, it's going to be a lot of people aren't going to like that. So it needs to be a 2 temperature plate. So when it's heated up, the steak portion's resting in the center that is very hot. Mm-hmm. And then you've got your kind of elbow friendly or your wrist friendly portion.
Oh yeah. This would be really easy to do actually.
Really easy product.
Yeah, just have it be a wood rim because that doesn't conduct heat very well.
There you go. The niche needs to be niche. Sorry. The niche needs to be kind of a B2B sale to either the distributors who sell to restaurants or to the restaurants directly. But I would never want to do a one product business. I just don't believe they're good. Mm-hmm. But this can have lines of these. So that could be your shtick, right? And then you can have seasonal changes. Every year you can come out with the latest trend one. And if it's cheap enough for the restaurant to order, they'll just order annually from you.
Yeah, I love this idea. No, I don't love this idea. I think it would work. I would never do this business. It would never be that fun to do.
But somebody could.
Yeah, you definitely could. Okay, Kendall, do you want to hear about bookstore, or would you rather talk about psychology?
Psychology.
Okay, right before we were here, we were on a call. We were on a business call. Kendall and I do some things together, and he was talking about a post that somebody posted in this group that he subscribes to, that he keeps on telling me I should subscribe to, and it's all about the psychology of business. Now, Kendall, I want you to shoot a few of those out there if you can, and then I want to tell you a story that is my favorite story about the psychology of business.
Okay,
shoot me some ideas.
Well, I have to pull this up. So give me a second here. It's going to space and back.
Okay, you take your time. Should I start with I'll start with the story. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of Freud, right? Freud's a very interesting guy. He has a lot of positives and a lot of negatives, and people have a lot of opinions. But one thing you didn't know about Freud was he was a master of psychology in terms of business, so much so that he taught his nephew. And his nephew came to America. And who hired his nephew? But the cigarette companies.
What?
Yeah. So the cigarette...
This is real?
This is a real story. So Freud's nephew gets hired by the cigarette companies.
How did you find out about this?
I read, man. I love this stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So Freud's nephew gets hired by the cigarette companies, and they say, hey, the sales are plummeting. We need to make people buy these things. And so Freud's nephew uses psychology to get people to buy cigarettes. And how does he do it? He makes it a civil rights issue. He says women should have the right to smoke.
Whoa.
And so now you're not selling cigarettes, you're selling women's rights. And
are
so
you for the women or are you against the women?
Exactly. That's exactly
Cigarettes
what it was.
are diminished.
Yeah, women should have the right to smoke.
Wow.
When women weren't ever prohibited from smoking, but he made it a female rights issue, and then they blew up and sales skyrocketed. Now, people use this all the time today. The Royal Air Force in England, they're doing this. Women should have the right to be in the Air Force. Well, of course. They've always had the right to be in the Air Force. Yeah, but it's a sales tactic.
They're just using it for marketing.
Yeah,
so
isn't it?
So like nobody has even like come against them and said this.
Yeah,
like it's not even a response, but they're pretending someone has called them out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I could run, if I was, I should have the right to run for, governor. Yeah, you should have the right. What the hell? Who are these people? Yeah,
a 33-year-old should have the right to run for governor.
Yeah, exactly. It's
my
kind of
gosh.
stupid. Anyways, that's really, really interesting thing. It's my favorite story about the psychology of business. And then psychology of business is always very interesting. I have so many thoughts about it, but I want to hear some of your things.
I should have the right to run a software engineering company without being a software engineer.
You do. That's hilarious. That's every business actually that's scaled, but that's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. So, okay. This one, number 3 on this list that you're referring to. So I pulled it up. I'm in the Facebook community. The cheerleader effect. Let's start with this one. Number 3, the cheerleader effect. Individual items are more attractive when presented in a group. This is psychological
truth. What do you mean? Like,
so people are considered more attractive when they're in a group than when they're seen alone. The cheerleader effect occurs because A, we rapidly summarize a group of faces and images into a representation in our heads. B, we see it to be highly attractive because of the average facial image in the group. So if you want to make an average, let's say this bell, which I think was $10 or $7 on Amazon.
Yeah.
If you put this in a group of higher end bells.
Okay.
A cheerleader group.
Yeah.
I go, but I do like the smiley face one, right?
Yeah.
It's easier for me to like give credence and credibility to something in a group. Like, but if it's isolated, then it's like,
It's a little bit like the Amazon effect. Like if it's on Amazon, I trust it. It might suck.
You shouldn't, but we do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Okay, center stage effect. People often choose the item, way more often, choose the item in the middle than the ones on the sides. People tend to be drawn to the middle product when presented with products situated side by side. The center stage effect is even more noticeable when we're buying something for someone else. So less of your personal, preferences come into play.
Yeah.
We're more likely to use subtle suggestions when buying for someone else. So like, I think this would apply to like the aisle, or think at like the mini mart. I walk into the mini mart and I really can't remember or recall what's on the edge of their counter, but that thing in front, like, okay, it's a cigarette lighter.
It's always that.
Like I can see it in my head, right? Center stage effect. Let's do.
I think that would be really good for car lots.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, like something where it's a high ticket item.
Do they not?
I don't know. trying to remember. I used to work at one. Shame on me.
Maybe not even the high ticket items, but the ones you want sold.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, usually they have like the nice trucks on the pedestal in the center.
Right.
Those
Right.
are fun.
Okay, the noble edge effect. People tend to respect socially responsible companies. When companies demonstrate genuine social responsibility, they're rewarded with increased profitability.
And even perceived, I hate this one because so many companies are like, yes, we're ethically responsible, when you're like,
I don't know that you
really
are, but you want to be perceived that way.
Yeah, you're green, but you're also doing child labor. So, you know.
I think we call that the boogeyman.
Yeah.
So this has been a popular trend in more recent years, and it's now mainstream. Okay, IKEA effect. People place a higher value on things they've created themselves.
Yes. Yeah, that's a real one.
And it's cheaper to produce.
You know, the easy one way you can do that is if you want somebody to like you, ask them to help you with a favor, a small favor. Hey, can you help me lift this up these stairs?
Oh my gosh.
It works.
I got a pitch the other day from a salesman who asked me for career advice.
Oh.
That's how he got me on a phone call.
I like it and I hate it.
I felt so trapped, and then it was a perfectly fine pitch, and I was like, okay.
What did he pitch you on?
It was just services, high-end marketing services.
Yeah.
But he was like asking for my advice on marketing and his journey and his business.
Hey, what should I do with this one really, really good skill set that I have?
Ooh, well, I'll hire you. How does that work?
Boom.
Right? That's what oh my gosh. It's a tarp.
That's great.
Okay. In 1950, Betty Crocker's instant cake mixes arrived, and they weren't successful at all. They put psychologist Ernest Ditcher on the case. Turns out, homemakers didn't feel invested in the baking process and put no value in the product because you replaced powdered eggs in the cake mix with the requirement to add fresh eggs. By adding one more step, they had the person more invested. So they added an ingredient.
Yeah.
They made it less easy.
They made it hard.
And then suddenly sales started going up annually.
Dude, okay, we need to talk about this. This is something I've thought about a lot. There's things, okay, how you think of business ideas. Often it's solving a problem. Sometimes it's where should the world go, right? And we should talk about that, right? Think of electric cars. That's kind of futuristic. At least it was 10 years ago, right? One of the best business things is, hey, what's something that's working and how can we create a problem in it? How do we slow down this process? So coffee is built on this, right? Coffee, Starbucks, they kind of perfected it. But then, the hipsters were like, yeah, but you know what you're going to need? You're going to need a separate grinder. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, and then for that grinder, it's going to have to be a burr grinder. Oh, okay, I'm going to have to get that then. Oh, and by the way, to pour your water in there, it's got to be a special spout.
It's not that spout. Yeah, you don't want oh my gosh.
So you just take something that people like, and then you add steps to it, and with that steps adds process, and the process makes people like it more, and thus you have a product.
Okay, on next week's episode, I'm going to bring in my full espresso making
This
set.
worked on
We're
you.
going to hit espresso shots.
This worked on you,
and we're going to re-talk about how ridiculous this is.
Oh, I love this. Okay, let's hold that. We'll go into that a lot deeper. Keep going with what you're saying.
Okay, the nostalgia effect. The feelings of nostalgia make us more willing to spend money. Nostalgia or sentimentality brings feelings of social connectedness. Social connectedness decreases our desire for money, which allows us to more easily spend. Which makes sense.
Yeah.
You are wearing a Grateful Dead shirt.
I am.
For a lot of people, probably yourself, there's a nostalgia element.
It's true. I actually, I'm not necessarily a deadhead, as they would call them, but I do like them. Yeah.
Underdog effect. People tend to support the side that they expect to lose more than the favorite to win.
Wow. People do not support me at all. This is a really good feeling. Now I know why.
Oh,
they expect I'm going to win.
Wow, the
That's
plot
great.
thickens. When your competitor is much bigger with access to great resources, your story as an underdog might be a great advantage to you.
It's true. It's the punching up thing. You've talked about this.
Yeah, punching up. Yeah.
You can do that all day long.
Yeah, I can say, man, I hate that other podcast.
Yeah, but the second we're bigger. Bad news.
No. Okay, in group bias, people believe their own group superiority to any other. In-group bias has a tendency to favor whatever the person associates herself with at the particular time. Wow, that was a rough sentence. We all get it. Group bias.
That one's a really big one.
Yeah, I don't have to read their bad paragraph on this because I think we all get group bias. Like the politics.
We get it. I'd say we get it, but we actually don't realize how much we get it. It's completely absorbed into your culture.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Tell me the groups that you're in.
I mean,
and let's see if you have biases. I'll do the same if you want.
I mean, okay, hold on. This sounds a little bit obvious and kind of lame, but we are Americans.
Okay.
From California.
That's a group.
And we grew up Protestant.
That's a group.
So with all that, it comes with its own thing. So Americans, we are American. We believe in the American dream. I grew up with the whole idea that I can work really hard and I can make things happen. When I lived in Asia, it was so weird. Like that just wasn't it. There wasn't like that.
Right. No, it's not Asian at all.
Not at all. And I didn't even realize how much like, oh my gosh, I literally think I can do anything. I think I can walk on water, pun intended, because I'm American. But over there, it's like, where were you born? Okay, that's what you're going to do.
Right. No, so my wife grew up in Thailand for the first 9 years of her life. So my in-laws are very Thai. Like her mom was there for 25 years before being in California. So, culturally, even though they're white as a ghost, it is crazy how much the underpinnings of their culture still show up to this day, even though they've been in California for a while. We're always like finding these little friction points between the family cultures.
Oh, yeah.
My family's like Midwest farmers that like worked their way into their engineering degrees, and then we're like, it's all about work and education.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you'll survive, you'll excel, and you can lead. And like I had to deal with that in my parents and grandparents and great-grandparents.
Yeah.
My wife's is like, we want to blend in. We want to do good things for the social group that we're in. We want to have loyalty above all else. And you don't want to like stand out in a crowd because you could bring shame to our group.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly that.
Holy cow. Try being an entrepreneur in that environment.
No, that's completely un-American. It's almost totally un-American. Or okay, let me give one more example. Well, it's not about desire, but it's Kendall. How good are you at business?
7.8.
Yeah. Okay. So you said that pretty nonchalantly. There are a lot of cultures where they would say, hey, how good are you at business? I am the best. I'm really good. I'm very good at business, right? Because they want to project, I am the best at this. But in America, we kind of tend to underplay ourselves, right? If I asked you how good you are at tennis, it doesn't matter if you're really, really good at tennis. You'd say, yeah, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
That's about as far as you'll go. You'll say, yeah, I'm pretty good.
Until we're playing. And then
you
like,
kill somebody and they're like, I told you I was amazing, but I played like 3 times, you know?
I used to have this used to be Halo and ping pong in my life.
Yeah.
Those were 2 things I was very, very good at, but everybody else thought they were great at Halo and ping pong in my friends group and generation.
It's like driving.
So it was like, okay, well, let's play. And then just crush them. It feels so good, like our competitive edge, right? But it's a sneaky, I will crush you.
Yeah, that's an American thing.
Really?
You were learned that.
Never have thought.
Yeah, you taught that.
I was learned that.
You were taught that.
I taught that. I was learned.
This isn't a really good example. I think what you can do though for this example is you get a bunch of people who are right above the demographic that you're trying to sell something. Let's say you're trying to sell high-end clothes. Get really famous people to buy your high-end clothes. People who are looking at those people will thusly then purchase those clothes because that is the signifier of these are good. So then you are in the in group versus being in the out group.
Right.
So if you're trying to sell something nice, pitch it to the people that your customers are looking at. That's how you use it.
Okay, speaking of high-end clothes.
Okay.
I wear black shirts now 80% of the time. It's become like a favorite of mine.
It's a meme, man. People are laughing at you all day long.
Yep, black shirts. I don't know why I landed on black. Maybe because white, my nipples can show through a little bit, or I can sweat through them, or I don't know. It looks like an undergarment.
You can spill anything on black. It's great.
Yep, black has been great. They're always Costco or Target shirts. They're the opposite of high-end.
Yeah.
But I can buy so many and they last me so long.
Yeah.
And I have no decisions to make in the morning. And this goes all the way back to like me reading 10 years ago about Einstein. And he like wore the
Decision
same
fatigue.
outfit because you only have a number of decisions your energy can
Yeah,
produce
I
in a
actually
day.
think that's a load of shit. I hate that theory.
I love it.
I hate that theory because,
love it.
I think decision fatigue is like a muscle. Like you can learn
Sure.
how to work it out.
Sure, but I still don't want to give any of my energy to my outfit.
Yeah, but you've already communicated this is the group of people that you want to talk to. You have no value for high-end fashion, and that's what you're going to do. However, if I say, hey, we're going to start a high-end business and it's going to be marketed to the people in Milan, I imagine you're going to quickly change.
Right, but that's like changing every few months or years. So what I'm talking about is the daily decisions that people are like, what am I going to wear today? I literally have not had that thought. I don't know how long. I can't remember. I can only remember opening my closet and I just grab.
Okay, let's see if this is real. Kendall, who are the people that you look at, that you look up to? Be honest with us. We're testing the theory right now. So let me just say, like, would you respect like an Elon Musk type? Would you respect?
I respect Elon Musk.
Okay, what does he wear?
I don't know.
I don't really know either.
I have no idea.
Let's Google this.
Maybe, but even more to the point, like maybe it's because it's nondescript and it doesn't stand out.
Yep, looking it up. It's extremely nondescript, doesn't stand out. Okay, who else? Who else do you look up to? Like he's right here in a black shirt,
mom.
white shirt. I don't hang out with your mom enough. But basically, I imagine
I just don't
subconsciously
care.
you're signaling those people that you see the most.
Correct.
And those people don't care about fashion.
But that's not
either.
counter to the decision fatigue point. Those aren't
no,
opposites.
No. I wouldn't say you think it's decision fatigue. I don't think it's that. I think it's group bias.
I mean, two things can be true at one time.
No, we're American. We have one truth here, and it's Jesus. Okay,
I'm not that binary. Yeah, I hear you. I just really like my ability to open a closet and get dressed in the dark. I've been getting dressed in the dark every day.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I can kind of tell which pants these are and which shirt this is. But I just throw away things if they like don't quite work. Mm-hmm. My wife says that doesn't work. Like I throw it away.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's smart actually. That's one of the best parts of having a wife. I will agree with that. Okay, we should do some ideas here.
Okay. You've got a couple prepped.
Oh yeah, let me do one. Okay, ready for this? I want to start a bookstore that only sells banned books.
Banned books? Like musical theory banned books?
No, banned books. Like books that are illegal to buy. Like these books.
Banned.
Yeah, banned books.
Banned books. Not
yeah, trombone books exclusively for trombones. No,
you're really
banned
niching
books.
down. Banned
really
books.
Niche.
Wow.
So think about it. Many
are there
countries.
banned books? Okay, so like not here.
These
but
books
they're
were banned
somewhere.
at certain times. Yeah, absolutely.
Dustin, that is a really good take on this. You don't have to do it physically. Why don't you just do it online?
Yeah, do it online.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Now, I would love to go into the retail version of that and just explore.
Yeah, it would be so fun. And it would be fun to like, people would visit the website just because they want to know, like, what was banned? Obviously, the first one would be like the Bible banned here, or
like
the
this.
Quran, or something by Marx, something by, who else? It doesn't matter. If it was banned for an interesting reason. And that's the story. And that's why I would go there.
I love that. Can you also get into the Minecraft library, like global library that in China is huge? Have you seen this?
No, what is this?
So China has banned a lot
of stuff. Big time.
Yep. A lot of the like information in the world. Google can't operate there properly. Like it is so controlled. So what Average Joe has done to get around this ban is they went into Minecraft servers where you can build your own. Right. And in Minecraft, there's this little, like you can click a book and it'll pop open and you can write text in books and save them. So people have contributed to a mass library of the exact transcripts of most books in the world. And you can physically or virtually walk through this with your little character, walk down and then click at it and open it up. But because it's Minecraft, it's like Napster did it. It's, or Skype did this. It's all the servers are not centrally located.
Yeah.
Like it's shared servers across everybody's Xboxes or computers or whatever.
So they can't, everybody's
shut it
holding
down.
the smoking gun. So
they can't shut it down.
Did you hear about the recent ban that they did? I don't know if
No.
it stayed there, but I think kids up to the age of 18 aren't allowed to play video games besides one night a week on the weekend, or a couple hours a day.
Oh, I did see this. That is going to crush their League of Legends.
Definitely. I think it's actually more about this type of thing, though. Contraband.
Right. But I think they limit all video gaming.
Yeah, they limit everything.
Yeah.
But like, there's no way they can delete this Minecraft thing because who owns it? Nobody owns it. So they can't delete it. So they can prohibit access.
They want a highly productive society. It's really interesting. So they want to culturally not be like the West.
Yeah.
But they pick some of the outputs of the West and then they want to mimic them and kind of force them. So like, you have to work your butt off in order to be high production.
See, but we kind of, this sounds really bad, but we also do the same thing, but we just dress ours up a little bit better. Like, we have to work. We have to have a job. And I actually agree with that. I think we should have to work. We should have to have a job. Dude, okay, I heard something. Here's an example. This is going to get complicated. During COVID-19 things, lockdown happens. Non-essential people, they leave. If they lose their job, they get higher unemployment. That's great. However, during COVID-19, if you quit your job, you don't get that higher unemployment. So if you're a grocery worker, you are an essential worker. But you're not getting a raise because how the Western system works is you can say, hey, I would like a raise. And they say, well, no. And then you go out and then you go find another job because you quit. Or I want a raise. Yes, you're so valuable. I'm going to give you a raise because it cost me more to replace you, right? So that's capitalism, right? But during that era, those people who were working at grocery stores couldn't quit because they wouldn't get the higher unemployment because they quit their job during COVID. And they couldn't get a raise because the people would be like, well, no. What are you going to do? Quit and get no money? Yes, you have to stay here at your $14 an hour. So we also have these strange systems, but we just dress it up a little bit better.
They evolve quickly. So yes, but they don't tend to stick for decades. So they get broken.
Yeah, we're less authoritarian and,
The way I look at it is like our binary party system and the like inside bickering. Yeah. We essentially break our own bones every 4 to 8 years and then reheal and then break them again so that we never have to crumble as an entire society. I kind of wish it was like
6 years at this point. It's too much whiplash.
It's too much, especially because they campaign for a year and a half.
Yeah, you can't, there's no real policy at this point. Awful. It's just,
Right. So I would say like, okay, let them lead for like 8 years is the actual term. Yeah. That would work better.
Yep.
Like let them actually change something and then you can break it all down.
And the last 2 years, then they can campaign.
My alarm's going off. So this means I have to go pick up my kids from school.
Can we do like 3 really quick pitches?
Yeah.
We should do that. Okay. I think there should be an app that gives you charts on the drugs that you take. So I want to tell this app, hey, I had 3 cups of coffee. Okay, sweet. You're going to peak at this time. You're going to come down at this time. I'm also taking a Benadryl. Okay, you're going to be out of commission in terms of body lethargy for this many hours. Like I want you to be able to put anything there. And I want it to be from caffeine to cocaine. I want to know the good and bad about everything.
So you want to see the time charts of its effect on you, like
and
in
like
charts?
The danger zone. Like 1 cup of coffee, not a problem. 10 cups of coffee, you're actually
like
in a
you
danger
stack
spot.
it. Or yeah. My wife had surgery, so if she has Norco stacked, but you're alternating with I think that's acetaminophen, so you're alternating with ibuprofen.
And then it'll combine the drugs too. So you can be like, oh, I took 6 Advil today. That's not good. You need to, and then it recommends Tylenol or something like that.
Or what a lot of people will do is they'll push it to the limit, which could be a liver problem if you push any more. But then they'll go do things that affect your liver poorly. Like they'll have a beer and then they'll have an espresso. And then you're like, okay, you're not understanding. Your liver is not keeping up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Okay, give me one more idea, then you have permission to pick up your children.
My idea is for a Nanny Car. I want to be able to have a trusted, identified, background check nanny with a van.
Okay.
To just go pick up my kids from school and bring them home safely and help them reintroduce to the wild. Right? It's just this danger point. It's like an hour and a half for me every day. That is a hard transition. And I want to be able to just pay somebody that I can trust to just do that one shift. But they could do like 2 or 3 families.
How much would you pay?
And I would overpay. I wouldn't pay this hourly. So it would be like per pickup.
$10 a kid?
I don't know if per kid pricing is the right way to
per
do
kid
this,
pricing.
but I know I would overpay.
Twins are discount.
I'm not gonna quote a price because then TikTok will hate me, but I would overpay for this
I want
And-
to quote a price. I think I would pay $7 a kid.
Okay. I think I would pay like $70 just like as a
So your
for this
children
to
are worth
happen.
$70.
In aggregate.
Okay.
I mean, I
your
don't
children
have 10,
together are
so
worth $70.
I'm valuing this at double. But like right now, I have the problem is I have to go, pick them up.
Yeah. I gotta get your $70
who is
kids.
safe enough to me to go pick up my little ones? Like it's a danger
It's a short
issue.
list. Yeah.
It's a very short list. So like their grandparents can do it. There's 2 approved babysitters, but it's such a choppy schedule for them. I want somebody who's like grade A, like driving record.
Yeah.
And their background check to no end. And I have a tracker on their van. I can see it in the app.
Yeah.
And like, oh, they got stuck halfway on the freeway. Is something wrong?
Yeah. That's great.
So I just want to know.
You could even have it live streamed 100% of the time. Literally, like
There you
there's just
go.
a camera in
There
the
you go.
car. It's just on.
There
If
you
you
go.
want to
Hi,
tune in, tune in.
kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would work.
Oh
That
my
would
gosh.
absolutely work.
I could set this up for myself, but I actually think that somebody could hustle this.
Yeah,
And they could
so-
combine it with the other things. If they're doing Instacart and Uber and other things.
This would be way bigger than Instacart and Uber really, really fast because all you need is a big fat van and you need to have...
You mean personally, like for the driver?
Yeah, like if
Yeah.
I wanted to start this tomorrow, I'd get a big passenger van. I would live stream it for sure,
Yep.
and then I would get some type of certification.
If you have a
as in, like,
15-seater van,
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
for sure.
this
It's
would
like,
work.
hey, you're the bus ride home for the kids without a
it would
bus.
be per kid, wouldn't it? It's the nanny bus.
What's your kid worth?
Yeah. Let's not think about it like that. All right. Anyways, if you liked today's episode, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. We will see you next week.
See you next week.